The next ecological adaptation which we are going to discuss is xerophytes. The plants which are living in dry or xeric conditions are known as the xerophytes. Accordingly, the xerophytes are classified into two types. They are physical dryness and physiological dryness. When we talk about the physical dryness, here the soil it will be having the little amount of water. The soil it will be having the inability to hold the water because of the porosity and also the low rainfall. The next one is the physiological dryness. In this habitats the water it is sufficiently present but plants are unable to absorb it. This is because of the absence of capillary spaces. So the examples for this is plants which lives in salty and acidic soil. So based on the adaptive characteristics, the xerophytes are classified into three categories as ephemerals, succulents and non-succulent plants. Based on the adaptive characters, the xerophytes are classified into three categories as ephemerals, succulents and non-succulent plants. Ephemerals. So these ephemeral plants are said to be the drought escapers or drought evaders because these plants complete their life cycle within a short period, that is within a single period. So these plants are called as not true xerophytes. The examples are Tribulus, Tephrosia, Molugu. Succulents. These plants are called as the drought enduring plants because these plants store the water in their body parts like leaves, stem, and they will be having a certain adaptive characters in which they can resist extreme drought conditions. Example Opuntia, Bryophyllum and Begonia. The third category is said to be the non-succulent plants, and these plants are also called as the true xerophytes because these plants are said to be the drought resistant plants. So they face both the external and internal dryness and they will be having many adaptation to resist dry condition. Example Casuarina, Nerium. Now let us see about the morphological adaptation in xerophytes. In root, the root system is well developed and it is greater than the shoot system. The root system it will be having a well developed root hairs and root caps. Stem. So here the stems are mostly hard and woody. So the stem may be aerial or it may be underground. Aerial means we can see above the soil. Underground means the aerial part of the stem is not available. The stems and the leaves totally it is covered with wax. So the transpiration can be prevented. So there will be some adaptation in xerophytes. We can see that the internodes in the stem are modified into a fleshy leaf-like structure which is called as the pyroclasts. So this pyroclasts is commonly found in Opuntia. Same way in some xerophytes we can see a single or occasionally two internodes it is modified into a fleshy green structure which is called as the cladode. Example asparagus. In some cases the petiole it is modified into a fleshy leaf-like structure which is called as pylode as in acacia. So these are the some modification in which the xerophytes it can save the water in its plant body for a long time. Morphological adaptation of xerophytes in leaves. So here the leaves are generally leathery and shiny to reflect the light and heat. So the stipules are modified into spines in some plants like acacia, Gigipus and Euphorbia. The entire leaves are also modified into spines as like in Opuntia, or it is reduced in scales as like in asparagus. Anatomical adaptation of xerophytes. When we talk about the anatomical adaptation, the epidermis, it is multi-layered and it will be having a very thick cuticle which prevents the water loss due to transpiration. The hypodermis, it is very well developed and it is made up of sclerenchymatous tissues. Here the stomata, it is found shrunken and we can see the stomata only in the lower epidermis with hairs in the sunken pits. Scotoactive type of stomata is found in the succulent plants. So what is scotoactive type of stomata means? It is closed in the daytime and it is open in the night time. Vascular bundles are very well developed with several layers of bundle sheath. So the mesophyll, it is differentiated into palisade and spongy parenchyma. In succulents, the stem possesses a water storage region so that the water can be stored for a long period. Now let us see about the physiological adaptation. So most of the physiological processes are designed to reduce the transpiration. The life cycle in some plants is completed with a short period, like ephemerals. The next category of the ecological adaptation in plants is mesophytes. The plants which are living in moderate condition, that is neither too wet nor too dry, are known as the mesophytes. So these are common land plants. Example, maize and hibiscus. Now let us see about the morphological adaptation of mesophytes. Here the root system is well developed and the root system, it consists of root cap and root hairs. So the stems are generally aerial, stout and it is highly branched. Leaves are generally large, broad, thin with different shapes. Physiological adaptation of mesophytes. All physiological processes are normal. Temporary wilting takes place at room temperature when there is water scarcity. Now let us see about the anatomical adaptation of mesophytes. So the cuticle is found which is moderately developed. The epidermis, it is well developed and we can see stomata which is found on both the epidermis of the leaves. So in leaf, the mesophyll, it is well differentiated into palisade and the spongy parenchyma. Generally, the vascular and mechanical tissues are fairly developed and it is well differentiated. So next topic in the ecological adaptation of plants is epiphytes. So already we have discussed about the epiphytes. So the epiphytes are the plants which grow perched on other plants. They use the supporting plant only as a shelter and not for food or water. So these epiphytes, it is very common in the tropical rainforest. Examples for the epiphytes are orchids, hanging mosses and money plant. Now let us see about the morphological adaptation of epiphytes. So the root system, it is extensively developed and it is of two types, clinking roots and aerial roots. Clinking roots means the plants, it is fixed firmly on the surface of the supporting object. Aerial roots. So these roots are green colored and they may hang downwards and absorb moisture from the atmosphere with the help of a spongy tissue which is called as the velamen tissues. So in the epiphytes, the stems are succulents and they develop pseudobulb or tuber. So here the leaves are lesser in number and it may be fleshy or feathery. The next character of the epiphytes is myrmecophily. So the myrmecophily, it is a common occurrence in the epiphytic vegetation which helps to prevent the predators. The fruits and seeds are very small and it is dispersed by winds, insects and birds. Anatomical adaptation of epiphytes. The epidermis of the epiphytes is multilayered and it has a special tissues which is known as the velamen tissues. We can also see the exodermis which is peculiar is present in the epiphytes. The cuticle is very thick and the stomata is sunken so that the transpiration can be reduced. The succulent epiphytes, it contains a well developed parenchymatous cells which stores the water. The vascular bundle is well developed in the epiphytes. The physiological adaptation of epiphytes is it has a special absorption process of water by velamen tissues. The last topic in ecological adaptation is halophytes. These are the special type of plants which grows on soil with high concentration of salts. Example Rhizopora and Avicennia. The halophytes are usually found near the seashores and estuaries. Here the soils are physically wet but physiologically dry. As plants cannot use the salt water directly, they require the filtration of salt using physiological process. This vegetation, it is also known as the mangrove forest and the plants are called mangroves. Morphological adaptation of halophytes. The temperate halophytes are herbaceous, but the tropical halophytes are mostly bushy. In addition, the normal roots may stilt roots are developed. A special type of negatively geotropic roots called nematopause with nematodes is present, which helps to get sufficient aeration. They are called as breathing root. Example Avicennia. In epiphytes, there is a special characteristics, that is the plant body, the aerial part of the plant body is covered with thick cuticle. Here the leaves are thick, entire, succulent and glossy. So some species are aphyllous. Aphyllous means without leaves. Now let us see about the anatomical adaptation of halophytes. The epidermal cells is highly cutinized and almost squarish and it is filled with oil and tannins. The star-shaped sclerates and H-shaped heavy thickened spicules that provides the mechanical strength to cortex is present in the stem. So this is one of the special characteristics of halophytes. The leaves may be dorsiventral or isobilateral. So already you know the dorsiventral means the presence of spongy and palisade parenchyma. Isobilateral means either the spongy or the palisade parenchyma will be present. So these leaves, it will be having a secretory glands which is known as the salt secreting glands. The physiological adaptation of halophytes. So it is high osmotic pressure exists in some plants. Seed germination in the fruit of mother plant itself. So it is known as the vivipary method. Dispersal of fruits and seeds. Both fruits and seeds possess attractive color, odor, shape and taste needed for the dispersal by birds, mammals, fish, ants and insects, even earthworms. So the seed consists of embryo, stored food material and a protective covering called seed coat. As seed is said to be the miniature of the future plant, the dispersal is very important criteria. If the seeds are fallen near to the mother plant, the seed, it will be fighting for the food, nutrition, sunlight, water, etc. and the growth of the seed will be affected. So the dispersal of the seed is very important. What is dispersal of seed? The dissemination of seed and fruits to various distance from the parent plant is called seed and fruit dispersal. So, this seed and fruit dispersal is carried out by various ecological factors such as wind, water, and animals. The seed dispersal is said to be the regeneration process of a plant population. So, the dispersal is very important. and it also should be protected from the natural enemies like herbivores, fungivores, and pathogens. Fruit maturation and seed dispersal is influenced by many ecological favorable conditions such as season, suitable environment, and the seasonal availability of dispersal agents like birds, insects, etc. The seed requires various agents for dispersal, which is very important. They offer many benefits to the communities, such as food and nutrition. Migration of seeds across habitats and helps the spreading plant genetic diversity. Dispersal of seeds and fruits is carried out by various mechanisms like anemochory, hydrochory, zoochory, and autochory. Now we are going to discuss about anemochory. When the seeds is dispersed by wind, then it is said to be the anemochory. So the seeds and fruits are modified in such a way that it can be dispersed by wind. So this kind of dispersal is quite common in tall trees. So the adaptation of the wind dispersal is carried out by four types: minute seeds, wing seeds, feathery appendages, and sensor mechanism. Now let us see minute seeds. So here the seeds are very minute and very small, light, and with inflated covering so that it can be easily dispersed by wind. Example, orchids. The next type is wings. The seeds or whole plant are flattened. It will form a wing-like appendages which helps the seeds to disperse. Example, maple, Gyrocarpus, Dipterocarpus, and Terminalia. The next type is feathery appendages. So here the seeds or fruits. The feathery appendages is the next category in the dispersal by wind. So here the seeds or fruits, it will be having a feathery appendages which greatly increases the buoyancy of the fruit or seed so that it can reach the high altitudes. Example, Vernonia and Asclepias. The last mechanism in dispersal by wind is sensor mechanism. Here the fruits of many plants, it will open violently so that it can be spread. The seeds can be spread for a long distance. So this violent opening is carried out by a strong wind. Example, poppy. The next adaptation is dispersal of seeds by water, which is known as the hydrochory. So the dispersal of seeds and fruits, it will be taking place when the plants is growing near the water body. There are few adaptation for hydrochory. Upconical receptacle with the prominent air space in some plants like Nilumbu is present, which helps in the dispersal of the seeds. In coconut, we can see a fibrous mesocarp and light pericarp, which helps the coconut to float in the water. In Nymphea, the seeds are very light, small, and it is provided with a rail, which encloses air so that it can float on the water. Some fruits, it is inflated. Seeds by themselves would not float, may be carried by water current. Example, coconut. The next adaptation of dispersal of seeds is by animals, which is known as the zoochory. Here, birds and animals, including human beings, plays an efficient and significant role in the dispersal of the seeds and fruits. So, they are followed by various methods. Hooked fruits. So the surface of the fruits or seeds, it will be having hooks. Example, xanthium. Or barbs. Example, anthropogon. Or spines. Aristidia. So these hooks or spines, it gets stick to the body of the animals or to the clothes of the human and gets dispersed. The next type is sticky fruits and seeds. So some fruits it will be having a sticky glandular hairs which will stick to the fur of grazing animals. Example, cleome. Some fruits it will have a viscid layer which will stick to the beak of the birds which eat them, and when they rub them onto the branch of the trees they disperse and germinate. Example, cordia. Fleshy fruits. Some fleshy fruits with conspicuous colors are dispersed by human beings to distant places after conceptions. Example, mango. The last mechanism by which the seed is dispersed is dispersal by explosive mechanism or autochory. So some fruits it bursts suddenly with a force and throws the seeds to a little distance away from the plant. So this is known as the autochory. So the autochory it shows the following adaptation. So mere touch of some plants, when the ripened fruits are touched, immediately it bursts with a huge sound and the seeds are thrown out with great force. Example, balsam and hurrah. In some plants, when the fruits are mature, when they come in contact with water, they burst. Example, Ruellia and Crocandra. There are certain plants which will be having a long pods. So these long pods when matured, it explodes with a loud noise like cracker and scatters the seeds in all direction. Example, Bohina vahili, which is known as the camel's foot climber. So in certain cases, the fruit matures and the tissue around the seeds will be converted into a mucilaginous fluid, due to which the high trigger pressure develops inside the fruits. So this leads to the dispersal of seeds. Example, Egbalium, Gyrocarpus and Diptera carpus. Human aided seed dispersal. Seed balls. Seed balls are also known as the earth balls or Nendo Danko, which is the ancient Japanese technique. So these seed balls are rolled with a ball of clay, preferably volcanic pyroclastic red clay is used. So this clay is mixed with humus or compost, and in the center there is a hole which provides with the microbial inoculants. So these seed balls are packed with cotton fibers or liquefied papers. So when we throw the seed balls, it will not get broken. So these seed balls are thrown in the barren lands before the monsoon. It is not planted manually, it is thrown on the barren land. So when there is a suitable condition, the seed ball it starts to germinate and the new plant is grown. So nowadays this technique it became very rare. To avoid the competition or getting disease or becoming a predation to animals, the seeds are dispersed away from the parent plants. Dispersal it also gives a chance to occupy favorable sites for growth. So here it is an important process in the movement of plant gene, particularly this is the only method available for the self-fertilized flowers and maternally transmitted genes in outcrossing plants. Seed dispersal by animals help in conversion of many species even in human altered ecosystem. Understanding of fruits and seed dispersals acts as a key for proper functioning and establishment of many ecosystems from desert to evergreen forest. So it also helps in the maintenance of biodiversity conversions and restoration of ecosystem. Some important days which we have to remember are March 21 World Forest Day, April 22 Earth Day, May 22 World Biodiversity Day, June 5 World Environment Day, July 7 Van Mahotsav Day, September 16 International Ozone Day.